Today we dismantle and rescape the Fluval Edge 12-gallon and try out some new substrate made from volcanic ash right after this. Hey YouTube, this is Pecktec. We are on the road. I was in a quandary over what I wanted to do for a video this week, and I was going to do one on substrate. But then I came across a substrate that I really liked, and I was kind of anxious to try it out. So then I thought, well, maybe this weekend I'll rescape the Fluval Edge. Of course, I decided to do this, but I didn't have exactly everything I needed, so I'm on my way to, I guess we're going to go do PetSmart. We'll see if PetSmart has some stuff. If not, I'll have to go to the other place. Sorry, Holly. My chauffeur is so excited. She loves to go to all the fish stores in town. At least like 100 times, right?
Yeah, I just have to be home at noon.
Okay, that's our only requirement. Is to be home at noon. She's off on a little trip to see your cousin. While the wife is away, the Pecktec will rescape the 12-gallon edge. Alright, PetSmart was okay. They didn't have everything I wanted though. I really need a really small scraper so I can get my arm in there and clean that glass where it's been a little bit algified. So I'm off to the aquarium. Now, when I went to the store the other day, I was looking to do maybe a video about substrates, and I was kind of looking at all the different kinds of substrate and getting information, and I ran across this stuff here from Brightwell Aquatics, and it's called FlorinVolcanit, and it's Rio Café-M, so it is brown, and it's sort of a medium grain of substrate. They also had a fine black one. I don't usually like the brown stuff so much, but I might mix it with some other things and kind of come up with my own recipe. If you guys have ever seen a volcano and stuff, you know that volcanic ash is very, very rich in all these minerals and things that plants can really use. So I'm excited to see exactly what this could do. Incidentally, it's also marketed as a shrimp-friendly product that lowers the pH of the water. The other thing I've read about, now I haven't confirmed this, but the other thing that I've read is it doesn't have the ammonia spike that a lot of these substrates that are kind of similar do. So a lot of them will have this kind of spike of ammonia when you add it. I know the 88 Aqua Soil, probably the Seachem, the new Aqua Vitro Seachem stuff, and for sure the Fluval Stratum, I know it does that too. They all spike a little bit with ammonia when you first add them. Now, I've heard at least one report that says this doesn't, but I haven't confirmed that. We'll have to check and see. This tank has been doing okay, But I didn't really aquascape it. When I set this up, I had 2 huge plants, and I think I added 1 more small one here. The small plant right here is actually a sword plant, and it was a lot bigger when I first got it years and years ago. I've had it for almost 10 years. And the big fronds eventually fell off, and it just kind of grew into this little tiny bush. And I think that's how it's adapted to the lower light aquariums that I have. But it's been kind of a cool little tiny bush with a little bit of red color, so I might end up keeping that or putting it in a new version of this tank. I'm going to take all the Anubis out though, and I'm going to add it to the 55. Now next week I've got a light coming for the 55 to really spruce this up. I might add any leftover of this that I've got in there too to kind of help the plants out. It's sort of a temporary nursery tank, but it does have a lot of fish in it, so I want it to look really nice, and I of course want the plants to grow really well too. But yeah, Current USA is sending me a really awesome light, and that'll be up next week. As for the fish that are in here, I've got 1 Amano shrimp and 1 white cloud left. So I'm going to add the white cloud over to the 55, and of course the Amano shrimp's going up to the other 55 to help with the algae battle up there. There might be 1 other fish, but I'm not certain. I added a small catfish, and he went under the log immediately, and I haven't seen him. But every time I've moved that log, he's been there. I look in on him about once every 6 or 7 months. It'd be really cool if I could make this into a shrimp tank, but I haven't had luck. The Amano shrimp does great in here, but every time I've added cherry shrimp, they haven't lived very long. Now this could be that catfish that I said was hiding under there. The other thing I got just for this project, because I'm cleaning it up, is this little tiny hand scraper, okay? Now the biggest problem when you want to rescape the fluval edge, or you need to clean the fluval edge, is any kind of scraper is almost too long. This company here has this little tiny handheld one, and as you can see, the blade is replaceable, so you can buy more blades if yours starts to get dull or whatever. And I think that this will be small enough I could get my hand in there and actually kind of maneuver around. But the first thing is to get the fish out, get the water out and the plants, and then we'll go from there. All right, let's get going. This may be the first time I've ever used this net. They do make a net, especially for the fluval edge, to kind of help with the problems. All right, next, I'm going to pull out some plants, really make a mess. The Amano shrimp is still in there somewhere, but I'm not going to be able to pull them out until everything else is out, so we'll start over here very gently. Those rocks are attached. Pull this out. Oh, quite a bit of plants there. I think what I'll do, I'll trim off the lousier looking ones. These that have too much algae on them or they're just old, not doing well. Trim it off. This is part of a plant that I got accidentally. It came attached, a small part of this came attached to another plant, and it's grown and grown and grown into all my tanks. Pretty good trimming on all these. Basically put them into a big wad. I've still got that rock attached from before. And I'm going to jam them back here in the corner. Kind of out of the way, but fills in some spots over there. I'm just gently pulling this up. It's got some rocks attached. If I'm really careful, I can keep these rocks and they'll hold it down in the next tank. If I'm not careful, it'll fall and break the tank that I've got now. Get this coming out. Not much left now. Look at this thing though. Huge plant. Oh my. Still got a little bit of rock attached, so I have a chance of this staying down. I'm adding so many plants to this thing, it's like Now it's sort of an impromptu rescape of this tank as well, isn't it? Right, I do have some hardscape in here I need to get out before I start messing around too much. Oh, look at that. He is in there. The tank is a mess. Yeah, he's actually alive in there. How cool. See if I can get my hands around inside this tank. It's really difficult to do. Oh, snaps right in there. Pretty much all my tanks, I never scrape the back. And so it's gotten quite green. And I could leave it, give the tank a little bit more of a seasoned look, but I'm going to start off as fresh as I can. I'm going to see if I can get at least most of this off. I'm also going to grab a little bit of the substrate and add it to the 55. But I'm going to grab a couple of these scoops, and I'll probably grab one more scoop to throw into the next tank to help it cycle up. Make sure it cycles up all right. Okay, now because this thing has this glass top and I need to be real careful with it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop the gravel out instead of just kind of taking it outside and pouring it out. Then I can start making sure it's all cleaned up and ready to go for the next round. Alright, now that I have this mostly cleaned out, I've wiped it down, got it kind of back to zero. As far as algae and stuff is concerned, there's a little bit here and there. Got some grass in there from my lawn. I also added black to the background. I've just got some plain black. It's blue on one side and black on the other. I put this in a lot of my tanks. And I didn't have this in there before and I kind of regretted it, so I'm going to add it now. So we'll get this all lined up again. That's really not very much substrate. I'm not sure if I can do a whole nother bag, but I do have another bag, so I'm going to add a bit more. All right, and here it is finished. You know, it's a kind of a sparse aquascape right now, and I'm not too sure what this plant in the middle is going to do. So it's the first time I've had it. We're going to let it grow out here for a few weeks and kind of see how it looks. Once the sagittaria starts to really grow in, it's going to be kind of a nice bushy green area here. And I put the sword back over here. Hopefully it'll just kind of bush out like it did before and be a nice little ornament there in the corner. The reason I didn't completely plant this out is because the leaves that grow next are going to be better suited for this aquarium than the ones that are in here right now. So I didn't put tons and tons of the sagittaria in, but I put enough to where it should really grow out and be a nice big bushy mess here in the next year or so. Be sure to subscribe. I'll do an update on this tank and all my tanks every 6 months, so that'll be about 5 months and you'll see this again. And that's all I have for you today, folks. Remember to follow your bliss, keep a clean tank, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Rescape, the 12-gallon edge. That's coming up. It's coming up. You're there watching it now. You're like, I wish it would just start. But first, we need to buy some things.
Woohoo!
We're gonna do the Aquarium Knoxville. It's not a commercial aquarium. That's a really confusing name. Should have called it like maybe Bubbles Incorporated or Fin Pets Express.
Shrimp, of course, is going upstairs to that 55 to help with the algae batty.